Quintana, coming to you from the Beehive at cubiesquest.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little treat boxes using the Takeout Thinlits dies and the Spooky Sweets bundle. This bundle consists of the Spooky Sweet Stamp Set and the Spooky Bats Punch, and if you purchase them together as a bundle, you can save 10%. These little treat boxes are so cute and they're easy to make with the Takeout Thinlits dies. I'm going to show you my tips and tricks on how to make these little boxes from start to finish. So let's get started. To start off with, we're going to do our die cutting. So you're going to need your Big Shot and you're going to need your Takeout Thinlits dies. And you're also going to need a half sheet of cardstock. I've got gray granite cardstock here, and this half sheet measures 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. I've got my magnetic platform right down here, and I already have one cutting plate on top of it. Next, I'm going to put my gray granite cardstock, and I'm going to take the piece that is going to create my takeout box. I'm just going to put it on one side of this piece of cardstock here. And then I'm going to put my second cutting plate on top and run it through. I like to run this through 2 times so that I can make sure that the score lines are really defined. So you'll need 2 of these to make the box. And now what I do is I just turn my die and I can use the second half of this piece to cut out the second piece. So that means that you can get 2 of these boxes out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So let me run the second piece through, forward and then back again. Here's my second piece, and I'll just set this aside for a moment. And while I have the Big Shot out, we're going to cut 2 other pieces that we're going to use for the front of the box. So you'll need a scrap piece of basic black and a scrap piece of thick Whisper White. And we're going to be using this banner piece right here on the basic black. And we're going to be using this label piece on the Whisper White. And let me just run that through. I'm going to do this one forward and back too because the banner has some folds in it. And so here is my little label piece. And here is my banner piece. Now we're going to do all our stamping. So I'm going to bring back my box pieces and I'm going to use my gray Granite Ink Pad. And I want you to know that I use gray granite on my other 2 box colors as well. You can see how I stamped that background image right onto the Granny Apple Green and the Gorgeous Grape. I use gray granite on both of these. So I'm just taking this background stamp here and I'm going to ink it up in gray granite. Now you'll note on the takeout boxes you have a thinner side and a thicker side. So on the thinner side I'm just going to stamp once. And on the thicker side, I'm going to stamp twice. Don't worry if you go on to the bottom and the top a little bit. This is just kind of a background stamp to create a little mood and atmosphere for our box. So here is the wider side. So I'm going to stamp on here twice. And then the narrower side, I just do 1 stamp. While I have the gray granite out, let's stamp the front piece as well. So I'm going to take this little Whisper White label and I'm going to take the greeting that says "No tricks, just treats." I'm going to ink that up and I'm just going to stamp it on the right side of the label as far over as I can get. Then we're going to stamp the bats. So I'm going to need a scrap piece of thick Whisper White and my Memento Tuxedo black ink pad. I'm going to take the bats and just ink them up. And I want to make sure that that top bat is as close to the top of my cardstock as it will go, because that is the way the punch is situated. So let me just take that Then we're going to take the Spooky Bats punch, open it up, and then I can just slide this right in here. And I just want to make sure all my bats are aligned properly before I punch all the way through. All right, 3 cute little bats. We're only going to be using one of the bats for the front of the box, so you can save the other 2 bats for a different project. So we're actually going to be using the smallest bat, the one that looks like it has V wings. So we'll just reserve that. And now I have kind of a cool trick for you to use to punch out this crescent moon. So I've got my moon stamp here, and I'm going to use Mango Melody ink. Let me open that up. And then you're going to need the 1.5 inch circle punch. So to get this moon so that it's punched out and not hand cut, I'm first going to take my cardstock piece and I'm going to punch out half a circle out of the side. So just move your cardstock into the halfway point and then punch it. Then I'm going to take my moon and ink it up in the Mango Melody, and I'm just going to make sure that the edge of the stamp is resting right along the circle that I just punched. So now you can see I've got the inner part already cut out, and then I can take my punch and move it in one more time, and then I can just use that to punch the rest of it out. So no hand cutting, and you've got perfectly smooth circles. So now we need to assemble this box. And I want to tell you, the first time I tried to put the box together, the top was a little hard to get in place. So I've got a little fix for that just takes just a few seconds to do. So you're going to look at this top slot right here on both of your box pieces, and you're going to turn it so that you can cut one more cut into it. And I'm just always going to remember I'm going to cut closest to this rounded top edge. I'm just going to cut an extra slot piece about 1/8 in from the side to the end of the slot. So let me just trace that out for you so you can see it with a pencil and a ruler. So I'm going to just eyeball it 1/8 of an inch from the side, and then I'm just going to make myself a little mark. So you can see I've just widened the slot just a little bit, and now I'm going to take my scissor and I'm just going to cut along that line to create just a little bit bigger of a V, and that's going to help those 2 pieces catch at the end without doing a heroic effort to bring them together. So again, all I do is I take a point 1/8 of an inch over, and then I just cut a slot like that. You'll want to do it with both box pieces, and that will help the whole thing come together in the end. Now we need to fold both of these pieces along all the score lines. So do the bottom, don't forget the little tabs, and then this top piece. And don't forget the tab. Then let me do this one. There's the tab piece. And it really helps if you run this through back and forth, because that way those little score lines are more defined. Okay, so now we have everything folded, and now you're going to need some Tombow glue. If you don't like to use Tombow, the next best adhesive that I would recommend is Tear & Tape. Tombow holds everything together so well though, and that's why I recommend it. So you're just going to adhere the bottom first. So this bottom rectangle, you're going to need to put some Tombow on it. And then you're going to take your other box piece and you're going to overlap those 2 rectangles. And you want to make sure that you hold this down for a few seconds. You want to make sure that it's not crooked. You want to make sure that it adheres properly before you move on to adhering all the sides together. So then you're just going to pick a side to start, and here are the side tabs. So you'll put Tombow on the first side tab, and then you're going to match it up with the side that's next to it. And now I want to create a little handle for the box, and so I'm going to take a pencil, and on one of the skinnier sides I'm going to make myself a little pencil mark near the top and the center. So flip it to the other side and a little pencil mark. It's going to be very hard for you to see this mark on camera because it's kind of masked by the stamping, but I can see it here live. And then I'm going to take my handheld 1/8 inch circle punch, and I'm going to slide it in from the top, and I'm going to find my little pencil mark. It's really close to the score line, and once I've got it lined up, I'm going to go ahead and give it a punch. So you can kind of see the hole right there. I'm going to do the same for the other side. Just right along that score line, find that pencil mark, and go ahead and give it a little punch. So I love this new black glittered organdy in the holiday catalog, and it makes the perfect little handle for my Takeout Treats box. So I've already cut myself an 8-inch length of it, and I'm going to start by putting a knot in one of the ends. I'm going to try and move that knot as far down to the end as possible. And then I'm going to feed it into the hole coming from the inside and just pull it through. Then I'm going to fold this down so the ribbon can move around, and then I'm going to come around and come from the outside and then go inside. I'm just going to pull that as far as it can go so I'll have enough ribbon to tie another knot in the other end. And this one, if you want a long handle, you can put it as close to the end as possible. If you want a little bit of a shorter handle, you can have it a little bit further away. Then you can just trim off the excess if there is any, and then you can just pull on the handle so it sits right there on the knots. Then just make sure these two pieces are folded in, and then you can come in with your top two pieces and you can hook them and close them. And like I said before, if you cut those slots a little bit wider on an angle, they're going to come together so much easier for you. So now let's assemble the front piece for this box. So I'm going to start off by adhering the moon to the label piece. So I'll just put a little bit of Tombow on the left side here. I'll take my moon and I'll just add it to the end so it's overlapping a bit. There's about maybe 1/4 of an inch that is sticking out over top of the label there. Then I'm going to take my little bat and I'm going to take a mini dimensional, peel one off, and I'm going to add that to the center of my bat. I'll take my paper piercing tool and pierce the lining, and that will help me remove it. Then I can add the bat to the front like that. Then I'm going to take my little banner, and you'll find 2 little score lines on it. So I'm going to fold down that first one that's closest to the center, and then I'm going to fold back the one that's next to it. I'll do the same for the other side, fold that one, and then I'm going to fold the other one back. So that creates a little banner that sticks out like that. I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on the middle of this, and then I'm going to add it to my label piece. And I kind of want it centered, so what I do is I fold in those two pieces on the back to see how it will look. So I have a little bit of the banner sticking out on either side. You can kind of see that there. Then I'll flip it to the back and just make sure that it's centered and straight. Then I'm going to take a couple of regular dimensionals and I'm just going to put them fairly close to the middle of that banner. I'll take my paper piercing tool and remove those backings, and then I can just add this piece to the front of my box. And the cool thing with this is you can keep the label the same for all the boxes, but I suggest making them in some other Halloween colors so that they make a nice little display. All the supplies you'll need to make these cute, spooky takeout treat boxes are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now. I love to reward my customers with free tutorials. Check out my new Hershey's Mini Christmas Tree with Gift Box. You can get this tutorial free if you place a minimum $15 order in my Stampin' Up! Store. For more details, check out my blog at cubiesquest.com and click on Rewards. Hi, it's Brenda again. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also visit my blog for more information on my projects and to learn about my rewards program, or just watch another one of my videos. Thanks for watching.